This is a PC that I got for £10 off Facebook Marketplace. As you can tell, it has a decent couple of parts such as this Corsair power supply and a Be Quiet heatsink. And you might be wondering where the front and top panels are. Well, they're covered in some sort of unexplainable stickiness, which I'll be putting vinyl over in part 2. Part 2 of what, you might ask? PC Chop Shop, where I'll be scrapping together hyper budget PCs and customizing them and selling them, hopefully for a profit. So to begin, I'll need to install a few bits to get the PC to work. The computer is missing RAM and a boot drive, which I have ready to install just over here. I'll just get these loose screws out of the way first, but as you'll see, they'll prove to be very useful in an unexpected way. And here's what I'll be using as a boot drive. So it's a 240GB Kingston SSD, which, believe it or not, I got for the same price as the computer itself. So with everything on this series, I'll never know for certain if it works until I test it, because I'm just buying it off Facebook Market or eBay, untested pretty much. Yep, so you can see me just struggling along. I'm not, an expert at this, unfortunately. And here's the RAM. So you can't quite make out in the video, but I've got 2 sticks of 4GB DDR3 Crucial Ballistics. I just had these laying around from a previous old computer. Obviously, in terms of the cost, I'll put that into the spreadsheet, which I'll talk about at the end. Wow. And as you can see, the RAM is in the 2nd and 4th slot, so the computer is in theory ready to boot. So the video cable I'm using is a HDMI to VGA adapter, as well as a VGA cable. I will be replacing that with a regular HDMI cable in a short while, so don't worry about that. See, I told you the screw was going to be useful. And we have signs of life. Now let's wait for it to post. Let's wait for it to post. Nothing. Well, that's not good. I was hoping it would just boot up with no issues. Looks like I'll have to figure out what's wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and assume there's no onboard graphics. So I'll just quickly plug in a GTX 1060 that I have spare. Not sure why, but it was actually quite difficult to fit the card into the PC. It's quite hard to see on the camera, but it just didn't want to line up properly. I'll secure it for now using a thumb screw. In case you couldn't tell, this series is about doing things super jankily. I'll just plug in the 6-pin power for the graphics card too. That's if I can figure it out. I'll also remember to move the HDMI cable down to the GPU from the motherboard as well. And we'll test again, and nothing. So I swapped out the RAM a bunch of times and I finally got the PC to post with another 2GB stick of RAM that I had. Finally, this took a really long time. I was very tired. Just a few clicks here and there just to get rid of these screens. And it looks like Windows is already installed in the SSD, which is handy. It's probably just taking a little while longer just because it's its first boot. And boom, we're into Windows. Sorry for the flickering, I just wanted to make the screen a little bit clearer. But yeah, there we go, Windows. We can finally confirm that it's a i7-4770K CPU in this PC, which to me is a decent CPU. And so I'm just going to leave it as it is with this PC. I'm going to call it wraps. So in the next episode of this series, I'll be doing some case mods to make the PC look less filthy, just make it look a little bit nicer. I'm also going to be tracking expenses on a spreadsheet, as I mentioned earlier, and again that's just so that we know how much exactly I'm spending on each PC when I'm scrapping it together. I also need a name for this PC, so drop a recommendation down in the comments below and I'll pick the best one. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in episode 2 of
PC Chop Shop.
Thank you very much for watching.